Hello, welcome to the Goodman Softball Complex for Game 2 of this doubleheader. Carter Burmaster, Ani Namburi. There's a drive into right center field from Gina Young. She's going for two, she's going for three, and the Hawkeyes, after losing on a walk-off triple in Game 1, get Game 2 started with a triple of their own. Gina Young to third. What a start for the Hawkeyes, Ani.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last game was so offensive heavy. You know, the Iowa Hawkeyes obviously had a massive fifth inning where they put up 4 runs, sort of turned the game entirely on its head. And a massive factor for that was obviously young Jenna Young, starting the game off with a triple quite easily.
She's doing it against the hero for Wisconsin. Game 1, Kendra Lewis, who had 3 hits, a solo home run, and the walk-off triple. Now starting this game in the circle for Wisconsin and facing Tori Bennett, who had a go-ahead 3-run home run in Game 1, takes a strike here.
I mean, quite the incredible feat to, have the massive offensive day in the first game of a doubleheader and then go out on the mound and start the second game of a doubleheader. Something you very rarely see.
Bennett, that home run was her first of her career. Take a look at a little announcer slide. Carter Burmaster, Ani Namburi, and of course Rachel Cohen will be our sideline announcer. Of course, big shout out to the entire crew here at Big Ten Plus for this doubleheader. Here at the Goodman Diamond, that one fouled off by Bennett.
I mean, when talking about Tori Bennett today, I mean, she had one of the biggest hits of the entire game, and maybe of her entire season so far, honestly. First career home run as an Iowa Hawkeye, and it's a 3-run go-ahead home run after you were down 4-0.
Be interesting to see how this game lives up to what was a wild opening game. That pitch from Lewis is going to be ball number 2. Even count it 2-2.
We also have a new home plate umpire, the first base umpire from the last game, Whitney Folden. Now the home plate umpire for today.
Here's the 2-2 from Lewis. Swung on and fouled off. Of course, Wisconsin now, that win in Game 1, their 20th of the season. Gave them a 4-4 record in the Big Ten. And now they have a chance. If they win this one, they will get win number 21, which would match their win total from all of last season.
I mean,
both these teams who have shown so much improvement from last season. That one right up the middle. Lewis, they're going to try to throw it home. They get the out at home. Now the throw to second, not in time. So Bennett gets to second, but Wisconsin able to get the out at home. Gina Young unable to score.
But the play made at home, a really smart play from Lewis. Sort of noticed that the play at third base, she noticed that Young was out of place in that play, so catching her in the rundown to home plate, got the tag on second, just missed the tag as well, just missed a double play over there. That would have been quite the interesting score. That would have been like 1-5-2, maybe 6, which would be, it would be definitely be really weird on the scorekeeper.
It was a big time throw from Blomberg to get the out at home, and of course Wells making the tag in time. Blomberg had that 2-run home run in Game 1. And another big-time play from a big-time player. And Kendra Lewis's numbers.
4.74 ERA on the year and 34 innings of work. Obviously not known mainly as a starter, but she has done quite a lot of firewoman work, particularly. And again, really important to have sort of these people who can come as spot starts, elongate sort of the pitching staff that you have. And especially when you have people like Susan Berry up to bat.
Early meeting in the circle for Kendra Lewis, freshman. She's up against Sujin Berry, the best hitter on this Hawkeye team. Had a solo home run in the first game. 8 on the season. That leads the Hawkeyes as well more than Ed Badger has had this season. The best power hitter of either of his teams.
OPS.
3.9. Those numbers do not include what she did in Game 1. She now has 20 RBIs and 8 home runs, but what an impressive season she's putting together as a sophomore.
And particularly now, apparently now Kendall Lewis has an OPS of 1300 after her incredible game. But before, Sujin Berry was absolutely the best hitter, especially the qualified hitter, considering Kendall Lewis has only played 20 games so far this year.
She has been dominant in Big Ten play, especially as a hitter. Here's the 1-1. Berry thought about it, takes strike 2 looking.
And the thing to note about Berry is her home run explosion coming into this year. She started with 1 last year, but now she's already up to 8 this year. So massive power increase coming from season to the other.
Also credit to that Hawkeye coaching staff. Here's a strikeout for Kendra Lewis, her first game. A credit to the Hawkeye coaching staff for the way that they've been able to develop Sujin Berry, but unable to do anything on that at bat. 2 down here in the top of the first.
Massive pitch there from Kendra Lewis, tailing away from the bat, made her chase. That's really good stuff out there on the mound from Kendra Lewis.
Now going against Desiree Rivera, who also had a home run in Game 1. She made it 7-4 in the top of the 7th. Looked like it may have been the dagger until that incredible 4-run bottom of the 7th by the Badgers to steal Game 1. She included that Lewis walk-off triple. Rivera deep into center, but easily caught. And the out made by Danny Lucy. And that is how the top of the first will come to an end. No score in Madison here on Big Ten Plus.
Wisconsin Athletics recognizes UW, the official sponsor of women's athletics. Cornerstone sponsor of Wisconsin Athletics. Fans, stop by the Wisconsin table, play run of the game, presented by Cousins. Correct the guess when the Badgers score their first run and win a $10 gift card. Head to the Wisconsin table.
Welcome back to Madison, getting ready for the bottom of the first, and we'll take a look at the Hawkeye defense. And the pitcher is Talia Trenton, who closed out Game 1 of this one. Of course, she gave up a 2-run home run to tie the game to Molly Schlosser in the walk-off triple. So we'll see how she's able to respond coming off the end of that one. We're also seeing Danny Bowman getting Devin Bowman, getting the start at first. Avery Jackson getting the start at third. Echo Mattiello is out in left field.
Mattiello, one of the better players from that last game, obviously. And Sujin Berry is one of the only fixtures in this team that stayed. The middle infield pair of Young and Berry has remained coming into this game.
It's Olivia Bark, once again, getting the lineup started for Wisconsin. That first pitch will be ball 1. Bark was 2 for 4 in that first game. And that one, it's going to get past Bowman, and it's going to get past the second baseman, Young. And Olivia Bark is going to reach first right away.
It just seemed like the ball was a bit too hot off the bat for either to make a play into the legs of one. Young couldn't recover the play, and now Olivia Bark on the leadoff hit.
Now Molly Schlosser batting second. There's a quick look at the batting order. She's going to bunt. The throw to first. Bowman got the throw in time, but Bark advances to second. Schlosser, who had the tying home run in the bottom of the 7th. She is going to be quickly heading back to the dugout.
This is a signature out of what Coach Yvette Healy likes from her softball teams, particularly a second hitter who can bunt really well. Very old school approach towards going that. She was thinking about that.
Blomberg now, that hit towards third. Jackson's throw is in time for out number 2. Blomberg, who got a start in game 1 with a 2-run home run. 1 pitch, 1 swing, makes contact but unable to reach base.
It'll be interesting to see how pitches change between games, obviously, you know. It's always something you can sometimes see, but now Lewis up to bat.
Last time these two faced off, Trenton and Lewis, 77, freshman. Lewis won game 1 with a walk-off triple.
And it's important to note 2 freshmen who have been stars for their own teams.
2 freshmen who both are able to pitch, both are able to play in the field, both are able to hit. 2 incredibly versatile players, and you have going to be 2 of the most exciting players to watch in the Big Ten for a couple years.
Absolutely.
And both
are going to get some massive votes for, you know, freshman of the year, all freshman team vote.
Would not be surprised to see both of them on the all freshman team at the end of the season.
And Lewis now opening over 300 after a previous game.
That one inside for ball 2. Stars look even at 2-2.
I mean, those numbers you don't see. An OP of 1,300, total bases on the year 42.
And lifted into left. To make play and get the out. Echo. So both offenses is quiet to start this one. And at the end of 1, it is 0-0 here in Madison into this doubleheader on Big Ten Plus.
The score is 0. Be aware that ball may land during tonight's game. Although ball is sponsored by Quick Trip. Release the near usher will receive a big box of cheese and pizza slice. Special thanks to Quick Trip for their support of Wisconsin athletics.
Welcome back to Madison. It was a wild game 1 here played. Wisconsin took a 4-0 lead, but then we just saw that a 3-run home run from Tori Bennett, the first of her career, put up 5-4. They then just 7-4, but this big hit off the wall, an RBI walk-off triple from Kendra Lewis, Kate Linkletter, who was able to round the bases in the winning run. And what was a wild 8-7 win for the Wisconsin Badgers in their home opener.
What's really interesting to note is that when you look at that play, Kate Linkletter, you know, goes to second quite casually, walking towards it, and notices and then quickly rounds the bases, turns out to be the walk-off.
Now we're going to Talia Trenton against Kendra Lewis, getting both sides of this incredible freshman battle. But really, that game 1 was a game of runs. As Wisconsin, they jumped out to 4-0 lead, 7 unanswered runs by the Hawkeyes, but then 4 more runs in a row by Wisconsin to steal it. One fouled off by Trenton.
And you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to note. You know, last game Badgers started off immediately with that, you know, that home run in the first by Hillary Blomberg, and now we're moving towards you know, we've gone to the second with no runs on the board.
Perhaps this game will be a bit closer to what we expected coming into this one. A big swing and a miss there by Trent, but when we were talking with the coaches, they expected this to be a defensive pitching battle because both these teams have very talented pitchers. We saw Gabby Sadler. She did great in game 1 of this series. We had Jalen Adams, who almost went in the complete game until Talia Trenton came in at the end of the one. She hits them to third. Blomberg making the play, the throw to first. That's out number 1.
And again, Lewis looks to be dealing quite well, only giving up the 1 hit so far, and dealt with that pretty well as well with the play at home.
See Trenton sort of reading for that one. Now Devin Simon come in. Struck out 3 times in game 1. What does she store for us here in game 2? It was very good defensive side in field. She takes strike 1.
Again, nice job, Amy Wells, to sort of receive it well. Make sure that it was called a strike. Sort of pulling it closer in.
1 home run on the season for Simon. It was a grand slam. The 0-1 outside for ball 1.
It looks like the wind as well is now blowing out to the outfield. Ideal conditions if you're an Iowa hitter right now.
The 1-1 there for ball number 2. Of course, we should mention at second base, Kaylee Whitten, who featured briefly in game 1. She got the start at second, just her second start of the season for the freshman. Which we kind of expected to see a lot of tweaks to the lineups with this doubleheader, as both these teams, they are used to playing doubleheaders. This is Wisconsin's 12th doubleheader of the season, Iowa's 13th, but also a chance to get some of these younger players who don't feature in the lineup as much, able to give them some time in the Big Ten. Here's a big swing by Simon. It's down for a base hit into left. Simon going for 2. It is a double for Devin Simon.
Schlosser was a bit slow to the ball, but was able to get it in quicker to avoid further damage on it. But again, just a really nice hit out of Simon, really fundamental, pulling, making sure, and again, gets a double outfit.
Now Echo Mattiello coming up.
One of the better hitters from last game, for first game of this doubleheader. So interesting is your approach coming to this game.
She went 2 for 3 in the first game. Runner at second. That one fouled.
Again, it'll be another interesting matchup because it's a second inning where Lewis has had to deal with runners in scoring position. Obviously, the first started with a triple, but now we have one at second. Again, it's just interesting to see how she's going to think about this matchup.
I've seen her deliver in pressure moment already. Can she do it again? That one again from Mattiello, fouled into left.
There seems to be an approach sort of going outer, moving it towards the opposite field. And again, it's really interesting to see how both hitter and pitcher are be approaching this match, particularly Kendra Lewis.
Fouled off again by Mattiello. And something that was very evident in game 1, starting to continue over in game 2, and that's just these batters battling against these pitchers and fouling off pitches and staying alive, and that pitch count again going up.
Obviously, Jillian from Iowa, obviously.
That one hit to second. Whitten makes the play at first. So they get the out. Second of the inning. But Devin Simon able to advance to third.
As you were talking about, the higher pitch guy, Jillian Adam went into the hundreds, well into hundreds in fact, when she was pitching, and she nearly got the complete game, but obviously they subbed in and close it out. I think that might go down as a blown save as well, considering the situation she entered in.
Fouled off by Avery Jackson.
First
Saw Jackson get on the base path in game 1. Now getting to see her hit. 267 average. Got 2 RBIs on the season, 4 hits.
And first at bat on the day for her.
The 0-1. Misses the zone.
It's also interesting to see, this entire game has been so continuous with the pitch clock. It's been like whenever that started, it's immediately started again. And sort of just this continuous rhythm you have to stay in when you're a pitcher on the mound.
Have to see how that factors into that one into foul territory and caught by Bark for out number 3. Kendra Lewis settling in and keeping the Hawkeyes off the board through the first 2 innings. We'll step aside here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to the Goodman Diamond. Getting ready for the bottom of the second. But first, we're going to go over to Rachel Cohen on the sidelines.
Thanks, guys. Obviously, with softball, there's lots of on-the-road games, lots of tournaments, lots of traveling. So naturally, you get closer with your on-the-road roommate. So when talking about that with Hawkeye assistant coach Sammy Diaz, about the different duos that stick out to her, she said Jalen Adams and Sujin Berry are the two that are joined at the hip. She said what's so good about how close they've gotten is that they know how to talk to each other, one being a pitcher and the other being a shortstop. There's no competition between the two. She said they are hard on each other and keep each other in check, which is just a testament to their bond and is why they both succeed. And a fun fact, guys, is that Jalen's roommate was actually assistant coach Sammy Diaz when she was a student athlete on the Hawkeye team. Carter?
Thanks for that, Rachel. Of course, when we were talking with Sammy Diaz, she talked so much about how close this team was, and that's exemplified by Sujin Berry and Jalen Adams. It's Talia Trent going against Emily Bojan. First pitch was a strike. That second one is a ball.
Again, this is, as we continuously saying, it's going to be interesting. Bojan now up to bat, known for her play discipline, specifically. She does have a bit of home run pop as well, which will be interesting to look into with Talia Trenton on the mound. Trenton in particular, not she's given up 6 on the year, a 7th, sorry, earlier today as well. So it'll be interesting to see if she gets a strikeout there.
Big swing and a miss there from Bojan. She was 0 for 2 in game 1 and is 0 for 1 early on here in game 2 as Brooke Huffle comes ahead
Danny Lucy. That gives her her 6th on the year. She's 2nd on the team in home runs, and hey, she's extended her lead on Kendra Lewis with that one. Just a classic hit, sort of pulled perfectly down between left and center field. And now the Badgers have a 2-0 lead in the 2nd inning.
Got out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning of game 1. Get out to a 2-0 lead in the 2nd inning of game 2.
We saw the Badgers' signature home run celebration again. Someone spiking the helmet in between the entire team.
May not have a chain, but they know how to celebrate.
They do indeed, Carter.
Fouled off by Ellie Hubbard. Now we've already seen Talia Trent. She came in for the after one batter was taken out in the bottom of the 7th, excuse me, game 1. Now 2 innings into this one, she's already given up 2 home runs. She's given up a big triple that ended the first game. How does she respond?
From Danny Lucy in the bottom of the 2nd.
Ball 2 thrown there by Lewis.
Lewis has been pretty good on the mound so far. She's come out of 2 situations with runners in scoring position. She's come out without giving up single runs, so the shutout is still on for her.
That one hit into center. It's a base hit for Bowman. Look to round first, but she'll have to stay there. But a base hit, a single to get the Hawkeyes started here in the 3rd.
Good hit there from Bowman again. Just simple over the shortstop, just out of the reach of Ellie Hubbard, who is such a good defender. So it's just a really good hit out. It's a really good hit out of Bowman.
Here comes Jenna Young, had a single her first at bat. With Bowman at first. As the Hawkeyes return to their start of their order. Ball 1 thrown by Lewis.
Oh, sorry, Jenny Young had a triple in the first.
Excuse me, that is correct. Unfortunately, I failed to read correctly.
And Coach Healy has come to the mound, a mound visit.
Definitely interesting to see how long do they leave Lewis in with how much she's already played. We did see Jordan Felchi, the freshman, feature in the top of the 7th to help end what was looking to be a pretty bad situation for Wisconsin, where they gave up a 2-run homer, had some other runners in scoring position. We also have Shelby Jacobson, who did not feature in game 1, as well as Molly Jacobson, who we did see for a couple innings in that first game. Lewis is going to stay out there for now.
It is an interesting question though, because again, they're gonna maybe try and adjust it so that they can keep Kendra Lewis's bat in the lineup, because that's such a valuable bat to have, particularly if you are the Wisconsin Badgers.
It's been the best bat of the series. It's been the best bat they've had pretty much in all of Big Ten play so far. Where she's on an 11-game hitting streak, Lewis. See if she's able to get up to 12. Right now, Gina Young trying to get something going. Has a chance to tie this game with a big hit. And another ball thrown by Lewis.
And Wells also choosing to, again, keep the runner on first honest, making sure that they're not taking massive leads. And again, that's something Wells has been doing the entire game, though she's kind of known for her defensive prowess, and she's kind of showing it today. She's been managing really well these past these first games of the doubleheader, managing the pitchers quite well.
There's ball 3 thrown by Lewis, a 3-1 count for Jenna Young. The hitter's count, as they call it. Does she get the green light to go for a big swing? She does. Hits it into center. Going back is Lucy. Can't make the catch. That is down for a base hit. Bowman is going to stay at third. A triple and now a double for Jenna Young. 2 hits to start the day here in Game 2. And now 2 runners in scoring position for Iowa as Tori Bennett comes to the plate.
You know, in the first inning, Kendra Lewis worked out of a runner on third. In the second, she worked out of a runner on second. Now she's going to have to try and work out of a runner on second and third in the third.
With no outs.
With no outs.
And it's Tori Bennett who had that big 3-1 blast to give Iowa the lead in Game 1. If she does it again, they'd go up 3-2.
This would be her second go-ahead 3-run homer if it happens. Which, what are the chances of that, if that does happen?
She takes a strike, the first pitch. She reached on a fielder's choice in the first.
Here's the 0-1.
Fouls that one off. Count goes to 0-2. And again, Bennett battling. Something we have seen all series long, all day long from these hitters.
Coach Healy signaling something. I don't really know what. It does look like Lewis is going to stay on the mound, though.
How does she battle out of this tough situation? Runners on second and third with no outs. Here's the 0-2. Fouled off again. And onto some sort of roof.
It's the hood off the stadium.
Once again, seeing another batter battling.
I mean, 0-2 with 0 outs. I mean, this is kind of where Lewis wants to be. Here's the 0-2.
Driven, left center field. High in the air, catch made by Schlosser. Tagging is Bowman, she's gonna score, it's 2-1.
I mean, so Lewis works out of the first 2 runners in scoring positions she sees, but she can't work out of the third one, second and third, with no outs. A nice little sac fly there, getting the runner in, and now Sujin Berry's up.
That's how you do it if you're a Hawkeye. You get the run, and now you have your best power hitter at the plate. Berry will take strike 1.
It's also such an interesting approach to see her batting stance, you know, keeping the bat on the shoulder, sort of waiting for the pitch. It's quite a signature batting stance, honestly.
Berry struck out in the first, also struck out a couple of times in Game 1. But she also hit a home run. That one to second. Whitten makes the play, and the throw not in time. And Jenna Young is able to score. We're tied at 2. It was a tough play for Kaylee Whitten. She's able to stop the ball, but unable to get the throw in time.
We're going to get a second look at this play. It was a really good play there from Whitten, but it just looks like Bark wasn't on the bag, apparently, I think, according to our first base umpire.
Did not take long for Yvette Healy to signal that she wanted that one to be challenged. We had a couple of challenges in game one from each team. Both were unsuccessful. And now we'll take a second look at this one.
I mean, when it comes to infield hits, I mean, Sujin Berry does have some speed on her, 2 for 2 on steal attempts this year. And she also has 7 doubles on the year, and 7 doubles is a lot. We're going to get a second look at this play.
Of course, this will not affect the score at all, as this would only be out number 2, but definitely want to not leave runners on base for Desiree Rivera, who had a 2-run homer in the first game. Here's the look at it. And very close, but I do think that Barry is there just in time.
Yep, I would agree with you there, Carter. I think she makes it in time.
And another appears to be pretty good call from the umpires on the field. Able to see those fine margins. Here comes the call. Barry is safe. Call is confirmed. We are tied at 2.
So far, we've had 3 challenges where the umpire's call has been confirmed. So good job by the officiating team on some really close plays today.
Now it looks like that is going to end the day for Kendra Lewis. And it's Jordan Felchey, the freshman, coming back in. She came in a tough moment in game 1 in the top of the 7th and was able to keep Iowa at bay and give Wisconsin a chance to come back, which they took. Now she comes in with 1 down, runner on first in a tie ball game.
Also important to note, lefty on the mound now as well, so that's going to change a lot of the approach on some of these Iowa hitters. Particularly coming up, we have 3 righties though, so the next lefty in this lineup is Mattiello. But again, it's just nice to get a different look sometimes, especially when that different look is someone who's tall like Jordan Felchey. Obviously, she had her first start against Michigan that went quite well, only ended up giving up 2 runs in her debut.
And we're seeing a couple of changes made to the defense as well for Wisconsin. It was Grace O'Brien who went and replaced Kaylee Whitten at second. And we talked about how we'll see what Wisconsin does with their substitutions when they do take out Kendra Lewis to try to keep her bat. She's headed into the outfield now. There's Felchey's numbers.
Obviously, Lewis was in the outfield for last game as well for a bit of it. And again, it's just when there's so many players that can play so many different positions, that's such an advantage for a team like Wisconsin, especially like a team like Iowa as well, with so many players who can both pitch and hit. With Desiree Rivera now up to bat.
Felchey against Rivera with 1 out and Barry at first. Felchey unable to hit the zone there.
I mean, it's kind of fun when you think about it, obviously, because we're talking so much about positional versatility, and now we have someone like Desiree Rivera who can actually play catcher. She can play the infield as well. She played second base last year. Quite the interesting positional versatility in this team.
Another ball thrown there by Felchey. Rivera 0 for 1 on the day.
Rivera also was an Oregon State transfer, where she played quite well before coming over to Iowa.
Transferred from Oregon State last season. This is her second season with the Hawkeyes. She hits that one. The out made at second and first. They get the double play. Jordan Felchey comes in and makes an impact. The Hawkeyes managed to tie the game, but nothing more than that.
A great pick there from the first baseman. Bark makes a really good play there.
Welcome back to Madison. This game is being produced by students at the University of Wisconsin-Madison as part of the Big Ten Network Student U program, an on-campus experience that is unique to the Big Ten. Student U is part of an educational mission to teach the next generation of sports production professionals. For more information, visit bigtennetwork.com/studentu.
Quite impressive that this entire production is by students, of course.
Absolutely. There's a big shout out to the Big Ten Network for these opportunities, as here we are in the bottom of the third. It's Hillary Blomberg up for Wisconsin.
Also, a big thank you to all the cameramen, who are also all students, by the way, all standing there in the outfield, even when the sun was out, and now when it's a much better day outside with wind blowing.
Been a long day here at Goodman, but a fun one. 2-0 pitch. Blomberg hits it to short. Barry can't make the play. Surely going to go down as an error.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a simple bobble, but again, it may be the fact that Hillary Blomberg is running down there, and that's, again, someone you just don't want. One of the best hitters on this Badgers team, and definitely one of the biggest power bats on this Badgers team, getting on via error. And Blomberg is going to be pinch run for
Mackenzie
Mackenzie
Foster. That is the 5th error of the season for Sujin Berry. Here comes Kendra Lewis.
I mean, someone who, I mean, she's 0 for 1 on the day, but again, she's had a massive day. Obviously got the hit streak going.
She needs another hit to make the hit streak up to 12. She flew out in the first after having 3 hits in game 1. That one into left. The play made again by Mattiello. Foster has to tag up. It was again sloppy from Sujin Berry. She didn't handle the throw well, but Foster unable to take advantage of that mistake.
I mean, again, it's a simple fly out, opposite field, nice tracking play there from Mattiello. Again, we keep talking about positional versatility. Mattiello, someone who can play the middle infield and now is playing out in the outfield as well.
Very similar results for Kendra Lewis on her first 2 at-bats of this game. Here comes Emily Bojan, struck out in the second.
Again, I mean, someone who's just willing to get on base, and that's kind of what the Badgers are looking for right now.
Swing and a miss there from Bojan for strike number 1.
Good pitch there from Tretton, a really good changeup there. Basically had her swinging from when the ball was right around in front of the batter's box, which that was just good stuff.
Bojan hits that one foul. It was a long run for Devin Simon. She's unable to get there in time.
That was a good try from Devin Simon. Ran quite a bit, only for the play not to be made. But
she's been very busy in right field all day long.
And she's been really good in right field as well. Quite the powerful arm.
That pitch high from Tretton for ball 2. Rivera making Foster think about it at first.
Obviously, Foster does have 3 steals on the year and 4 attempts.
That one inside for ball 3. We have a full count.
Full count here. It's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to see a waste pitch or not.
One down here in the bottom of the third. Swing and a miss. And then Foster going for second. She's able to get the steal in advance. Bojan strikes out again, but Foster able to get to second.
Very nearly a strike him out, throw him out, but Foster gets it in time. A good pitch from Tretton, elevating on the fastball, but Foster was just that bit faster. 4th steal on the year for her.
Now it's Brooke Cuffle for the Badgers.
Cuffle has 3 home runs on the year and 43 total bases, so she's definitely very adept at the extra base hit. And again, Tretton having to battle again with a runner in scoring position.
So Kendra Lewis have to deal with these kind of situations. Now Iowa's freshman pitcher having to do the same. First pitch to Cuffle is high for ball one.
Where if things stay the same, that means we have 2 freshmen on the mound for each team. Obviously, Tretton on one side, but now Felchi as well if she's going to stay in the game.
That went inside for ball two. Cuffle was hit by a pitch on her first plate appearance of this game.
Again, talking about getting on base in any way possible. Cuffle, known again for her plate discipline. Wild pitch there.
Rivera unable to hold it. And now Foster able to get to third. And all they need to do, or all Brooke Cuffle needs to do now for Wisconsin, is just put the ball in play.
Foster
3-0
jumping
count.
on it.
3-0 count with 2 down. There's strike one from Tretton.
I mean, when it's 3-0, that's usually just a take count, and Tretton using that to just sort of get ahead of the batter.
There's a walk for Brooke Cuffle. Runners at the corners for Wisconsin. And here comes Danny Lucy. How does she follow up hitting a home run on her last at bat?
Cuffle now has as many walks as Danny Lucy with that 11th walk on the year, but Lucy has that slug on Cuffle, especially with the home run earlier in the day.
Tretton throws strike one. There's that 2-run home run which opened the scoring. Trying to deliver another big hit. She has 6 home runs on the season. Takes strike number 2.
Good reception there from Rivera, pulling it back in. 0-2 count.
That one popped up. Foul territory. Rivera can't make the catch. And Foster, well, it's not going to count as a run.
It's going to be a foul ball, but
It is a foul ball. Foster was right there at home.
Rivera
But unfortunately won't count for her.
was right under the ball. It maybe seems like she lost the ball because it looked like she was just sort of tracking her back around, walking back and forth.
That one hit Tretton. The underhand throw and the out at first. So 2 runners stranded for Wisconsin as we end the 3rd inning. It is a 2-2 ball game at Goodman. Another exciting matchup between these 2 teams here on Big Ten Plus.
Think I won. Safe to say. Okay? Okay, that's Kaylee, which one? Oh, man, that's hard. You gotta pick one. Okay. Yes! Yes!
Welcome back to Madison. 2-2 ball game, top of the 4th. And Talia Tretton, who was able to survive, getting a couple runners on base. At the bottom of the 3rd, now up to bat.
Against another freshman pitcher, Jordan Felchi.
Another freshman v. freshman matchup. That one misses the zone for ball 1.
Freshman lefty versus freshman righty. Again, really interesting matchup at Goodman right now. Also just the mobile bat from Tretton, just continuously mobile.
That one's inside, and
checks her swing.
It is ball 2. That's how it looked from up here, but umpires had to confirm it.
I mean, they arguably get the best look at the check swing.
Again, Felci missing the zone. That's ball 3.
Especially now, but like there's a spell of righties right here in this Iowa lineup, but she gets to about Echo Mattiello, that's the lefty, then back to a few more righties in Jackson and Bauman. So this is going to be interesting how Felci works it.
The 3-0 and a 4-pitch walk for Talia Trenton. So not how Felci would have wanted to start the 4th.
Batting for Iowa, number
I mean, but after fighting a few runners on base, Trenton herself getting on base with a walk.
Now it's Devin Simon. Now Felci getting a mound visit from Yvette Healy. How far deep does Healy go into her bullpen today? Of course, we still have Game 3 of this series played tomorrow morning.
And that's important to know. Like, it's not an evening game tomorrow. No, it's the morning as well. So like, it's gonna be practically wake up to get back to it, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how that bullpen works. It seems like Felci is gonna stay in, but there are people warming up in the bullpen for Wisconsin.
So they have the options: Molly Jacobson, Shelby Jacobson.
Quite a few of their position players have pitched this year as well. We talked about Hillary Blomberg pitching innings.
And of course, if she really wanted to, could bring Gabby Sallow back out. Simon trying to bunt that one. It fouls off behind her.
Bunt popped up high.
Looks like a fly ball. Here's Simon, 1 for 1, had a double in the second.
867 OPS on the year as well. She's been one of the best hitters on this team.
Yo 1. Again, Simon showed bunt, pulled back, as that one is ball 1.
When you're looking at who's on base right now, I mean, Trenton's not stolen a base, but again, it's just something to think about for Felci on the mound. Especially as she is a ground ball pitcher, she's relying on her defense a lot more than, say, Gabby Sallow. But again, that's kind of the fun thing you see when you have pitchers on the mound like this. You're always guaranteed balls in play, and balls in play usually means fun.
Felci only has 5 strikeouts on the season. The 1-2 fouled off.
Quickly collected by Wells.
She has been on top of it all day long there behind the plate.
Again, just keeping the runners honest, making sure it's not harder for the pitchers.
The 1-2 from Felci misses the zone. The count draws even at 2-2.
Crowd not a fan of that call.
Not quite as big of a crowd from Game 1, but still nice crowd here on this warm Friday evening in Madison at Goodman. That one fouled off again by Simon.
Remains 2-2.
Once again, another example of these batters for both teams just battling and extending these at-bats, and the pitch numbers continue to rise.
Again, Felci's only faced has only faced 2 or 3 hitters and already at 14 pitches.
Misses the zone there. We have a full count.
I think someone must have the stat, but we've seen a lot of full counts in this game, and they've gone both ways a lot as well. So it's been basically just 2 hitting teams that have just been really good at battling on 2 strikes.
That one hit to third. Blomberg out at second. The throw to first. Not in time. Nearly a second double play of the game. And Yvette Healy immediately out of the dugout. Perhaps another challenge?
What she is I don't know what she's thinking. She's asking for because she's pointed towards second base. The out was called over there, but I think they're looking at an interference call here.
Hard to say. It did look like Trenton, immediately after that ball reached second, just decided, sort of ducked out and got out of the line, but guess Healy wants another look at it. I don't know if she's officially challenged this one yet. Having a discussion with the umpires.
I think the classic term is taking offense. It's what's always used. So it's just having a conversation, making sure everyone understands the call. I guess that's what happened over there. I think it's just going to be a fielder's choice.
Now batting for Iowa, number 33.
That's how it's going to go.
Echo
Echo Mattiello back up for the Hawkeyes.
And this is the lefty-lefty matchup Fauci would probably want in a situation like this. But Mattiello has been quite hot, especially in the first game.
Felci throws strike one. Mattiello grounded out in the second. 0 for 1 on the day. Or in this game. That one missing the zone from Felci.
Almost a pitch out over there, just like, again, making sure that there's no steal over there. Tailing away from Mattiello.
She had 2 hits in game 1. Big swing and a miss. And then the throw is off at second base in a stolen base for Devin Simon.
Crane is there to cover, but it's not good. And then Hubbard is able to pick up the wild throw.
Hubbard unable to get it off that bounce.
And another discussion between the umpires.
They're going to take a look at this one.
I don't know what they're looking at. Maybe they're looking at if she left early.
Interesting to see the replay. I believe this is now the 4th official review of this game.
I think of today, it's this game 4 reviews.
Yeah, of the day, excuse me.
I was gonna think. I was like, I've seen the review a lot, but I didn't know it was all this game.
It's been a long day.
It has, but it's been a fun day.
Absolutely. It is always a blast to be here at Goodman. Always a blast for a couple of Big Ten teams to battle out. Here's the replay. Well, there's definitely nothing that can be argued about whether she was out there, as the throw clearly off target.
Oh, they're currently looking at interference, is what we're being told. I'm guessing interference with the throw. However, again, it's a hard call. It's definitely a hard call, but we obviously trust the umps to make the right call. There's a reason that they're the professionals.
And looking at this, doesn't seem to be much there.
She definitely runs around the tag and doesn't clip the glove in any way.
Oh, they're calling him out.
But they're calling her out.
So that is the second out of the inning.
Has been overturned. The runner is out.
The call is that she left early. So Wisconsin getting a break there, and that's how they get out number 2. And it is still a 1-2 count to Mattiello, so Felci with a chance to get that third out.
And that's the second strike.
And they're calling it a 1-2 count now.
So we're sorry to that.
Bit of confusion. Now 1-2 count. There's the strikeout. First strikeout of the game for Jordan Felci. She retires Echo Mattiello, and we stay at 2-2 here in Madison. We will step aside here on Big Ten Plus.
Badger fans, join us in welcoming 9-year-old Ophelia from Lone Rock, tonight's Summit Credit Union Junior announcer.
Back here in Madison, 2-2 ball game, getting ready for the bottom of the fourth. But before that, we're gonna throw it over to Rachel Cohen.
Thanks, guys. When you come to a Big Ten school, that means there's lots of alums that want to come and support, and that's something that this Badger softball team has really experienced this season, whether it's coming to all their away games, whether it's baking cookies or sending photos and videos. This Badger team has really been supporting them. Head coach Yvette Healy said it's been incredible to have that support, and even said that leading into the season, there were about 15 to 20 letters alums wrote in, sending encouragement and just sharing how proud they were to be a Badger. Coach Healy printed them out and had different players read them aloud ahead of their first game. Coach Healy said it's heartwarming to see the support from former players and them doing these types of things. And that's just a testament to the culture Coach Healy has created during her 15 years with the program. Carter?
Thanks for that, Rachel. It's been an incredible culture that Yvette Healy has built here in Madison, and that alumni base is a part of that. Here's Ellie Hubbard at the plate for Wisconsin. She got walked in the second. She takes a strike there. 1-1 count.
I mean, if you want to talk about alumni doing well, I mean, assistant coach for Iowa, Sammy Diaz, played for this team last year. And, you know, she's been a first-hand witness to the improvements that Coach Carl has brought in to Iowa. And she was very glowing about the improvements.
Hit into right. That one is fair, and Hubbard reaches with a single.
Tretton looks to be staying on the mound, particularly since we have mentioned Sammy Diaz. We have to talk about her comments off Talia Tretton. Obviously, last game she had was her 10th strikeout game, obviously outside of the doubleheader. And when Sammy Diaz was asked to comment about her, she said, "She continues to amaze me and Carl every day. What they're doing out there on the mound is not surprising whatsoever," and talked a lot about her doing the extras and the hard work.
There's a bunt from Wells. She's out at first, but Hubbard advances to second.
And when you have an assistant coach talking about a freshman like that, that's a really good sign, particularly for the next 4 years, if Tretton Juice stays at Iowa.
Yeah, both these teams really seem to have a lot to be excited about in the future. Both these teams already pulling off great turnarounds this season. Of course, Iowa, they finished last in the Big Ten last year. They've had a good start to the Big Ten campaign so far this season. Had a couple of wins against Indiana. Split that series against UCLA. They did drop, of course, this first game tonight. But they fought hard and did not make it easy on these Badgers. There's strike number 2 thrown by Tretton. Of course, Iowa, they've already exceeded their win total from all of last season. Won 18 games last year. They have 21 wins this year.
And it's a really good contrast, honestly. It's the two ways you can sort of expect improvement in a team. One is changing the culture, changing the coach, and making it sure, like the way Iowa's done it. But the other way is just sticking with a coach who's been winning in the past and trusting them to do so with how Wisconsin's treated Coach Healy.
That one driven into center. It is caught. What a catch! What a catch in center field by Tori Bennett. What a series she's having.
Absolutely. She extends for the play, makes the jump, gets a really good read on it, knows that she's not going to get to it if she just runs in a straight line to it. Sort of collects herself, makes the adjustment mid-run, extends the glove with the jump. Great play. And a throw in as well to limit the runner. Great play from Tori Bennett.
As a catch that we can assume saved a run. Have to assume Ellie Hubbard would have scored from that position. There's Schlosser down the middle. Hubbard coming around third, and she's going to score here. Molly Schlosser an RBI single, had the 2-run homer in game 1, and now drives a run in today, or excuse me, game 2. Another big hit from the sophomore. Wisconsin back on top. It's 3-2.
Hubbard as well sliding in and giving a nod to Molly Schlosser. Really nice to see that connection between, the run and the RBI.
Now here comes the power of this Wisconsin lineup. Hillary Blomberg takes strike 1. She's 0 for 2 today. But of course, we all know what she's capable of doing, seeing those numbers. Of course, that's not even accounting for the home run that she hit in game 1. There's a wild pitch. Schlosser is going to reach to second.
Thought about going to third, collects in time. But yeah, Hillary Blomberg is she's been the power bat for this Wisconsin team. Her, Lewis, and Lucy has been sort of these three people in the heart of this Wisconsin lineup. Especially these recent games have been really driving the runs.
There's ball number 2 from Tretton.
And what makes Blomberg such an impressive power hitter is how consistent she is. Because this is what she did in her freshman year, and she's continued it.
There's a deep drive, left center field, off the wall. Schlosser is in. An RBI double from Hillary Blomberg. 4-2 Badgers.
It's what we were talking about. She simply drives it in between the left and center field gap, gets it perfectly down it, and then just great. It's just great stuff from Hillary Blomberg and stuff that she's been doing since her freshman year and stuff that she's continuing to do right now when she broke the freshman record for doubles.
And that looks like it's going to be it for Talia Trenton. And guess who is standing in the circle for Iowa? She threw over 100 pitches in game 1 just a couple hours ago. And now Jalen Adams back in the circle for Iowa.
And seeing from her warm-up, looks like she has not lost a single bit of velo. It's still all there.
What an impressive player she is. Putting up exceptional numbers this season. She got the 4th lowest ERA in the Big Ten. She got 78 strikeouts before this series, not counting the strikeouts that she managed to record in game 1.
But what's impressive about that is she has 78 strikeouts. That's only 35 walks. So, she's really good at maintaining and making sure that, for every strikeout that she's giving, she's not throwing away waste pitches. And she's continuously getting to it. And now Kendra Lewis up to bat. This is an important matchup right here between Jalen Adams and Kendra Lewis.
Adams had 4 strikeouts in game 1, but she did give up that solo home run to Kendra Lewis. Lewis trying to extend her hitting streak to 12 games. That one to short. Sujin Berry. And a throw in time for out number 3. So Jalen Adams comes in, immediately gets the 3rd out. But once again, the Badgers able to extend their lead. 4-2 Wisconsin from Goodman here on Big Ten Plus.
Here first, Summit Credit Union junior announcer, Ophelia.
Back here in Madison if we haven't talked about them enough, here's another look at these 2 star freshmen for Wisconsin and Iowa. Talia Trenton, Kendra Lewis, both with some RBIs. Lewis had that home run, of course, the walk-off in game 1. They've both been so impressive, and especially in the way that they're able to do so much, and they're such a weapon for these coaches to use, the way that they can hit, the way they can pitch, the way that they can field. Of course, we had both of those to start this game on the mound, but in game one, Talia Trenton started the game at first for Iowa, while Kendra Lewis started the game in the outfield. So
It's
a lot of things that they can do with these freshmen.
Two-star freshman two-way players on teams that have massively improved in the Big Ten. I mean, pretty clear that they both are massive factors on why their teams are performing so much better this year compared to last year.
There was ball one thrown by Felchi against Avery Jackson, who's 0 for 1 today.
Felchi so far has been quite solid on the mound for Wisconsin.
That one lifted, foul territory. Bark was there, but it's Riley Crane able to make the catch and get the out.
Crane calling off Bark, making sure that that was her ball. And, I mean, ultimately it proved to be the right choice because I think because Bark was sort of unsolid on where she was reading the ball. It was nice, good running play by Riley Crane.
Now Devin Bowman had a single in the third. Take strike one.
Bowman only a sophomore, but he's put up some impressive stats.
It's only her 5th appearance of the season, but she started every time she has played. That one
Fouls off her leg.
Yeah, it was. Amy Wells, of course, thought it was in play, was ready to go get the out, but instead it's just going to be a strike. So an 0-2 count. There's a strikeout.
Impressive changeup there from Jordan Felchi. Starts outside, ends up inside. Great movement there, changes up the speed. Good stuff there from the freshman lefty.
Devin Bowman could only watch. It's the 2nd strikeout of the game for Jordan Felchi.
Now up to bat Jenna Young, so the top of the lineup is now here for Iowa.
Jenna Young, who has 2 hits, a double and a triple, takes ball one. And just thinking about how Jenna Young has hit already in this game and how she's been able to hit all season, how do you approach this if you're Jordan Felchi with this 2-run lead? Do you give her another chance to make a play, or do you just play it safe? There she throws a strike right down the middle.
I mean, very clearly, she's throwing a lot of stuff in the zone. Again, like giving people things to hit, but like she's so confident in her stuff. I'm guessing she's guessing that, oh, the defense behind me is going to do the rest of this work. And again, being sort of a zone-filling pitcher, that's quite admirable.
She bounced that one for ball number 2. Look at Young's numbers, very impressive. Just 1 home run, but she knows how to put the ball in play.
She now has an OPS over 1,000 this year, with the added triple and double from this game. Coming to set Felchi.
The 2-1 misses the zone. Hitters count for Young.
And this is going to be an interesting approach because now comes Bennett and Barry, who've been really good this game. Bennett obviously had the walk. Barry had the hit earlier.
Felchi trying to get out of the inning. Popped up left field. And Molly Schlosser gets out number 3. And Jordan Felchi is rolling in the circle. Nothing to show for Iowa here in the 5th, as Wisconsin holds on to a 4-2 lead as we step aside for a moment here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to Madison. 4-2 ball game. Wisconsin looking to get a second win over the Hawkeyes here on this Friday night and clinch the series win. It would be a 6th straight win at home against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa hasn't won in this building since 2021. Riley Crane is up for Wisconsin.
As Jalen Adams continues to be on the mound.
Well, Sammy Diaz talked about how she's ready to always go out there, and can see that today. Nearly through a complete game in game 1, and now pitching in relief for Talia Trenton. And when you have a pitcher like that who is not only willing but able to pitch this much, such an advantage, because Iowa, so far this series, they haven't had to really go into their bullpen, as that one fouled off by Crane. While Wisconsin, they have used Kendra Lewis, they've used Gabby Sala, they've used Molly Jacobson, they've used Jordan Felchey. It's only been Adams and Trenton for Iowa. They have not had to dip into any more of their pitchers. They do have other pitchers, Maya Clark, Haley Down. They have the freshman Jaylee Ojo, but
What would be really interesting is Andrea Jaskowiak gets innings, obviously Madison, Wisconsin native.
that one bounced to Adams. Just toss it over to first to Bowman for the first out.
But again, that is such an advantage, like having two pitchers who can take such a large workload. I think you said 93% of the innings on this Iowa team have been taken up by two pitchers, and one of them is a freshman, right? So it's an insane workload, but having pitchers who can do that, that's such an advantage for Iowa.
Also says a lot about both the recruiting to get a freshman like that, but also just the development and the coaching of this team. And even with all kind of the adversity that Iowa's dealt with in the coaching department, of course, Renee Gillespie, she stepped down for the 2025 season in December for personal reasons, and then had Brian Levin for a bit, but he left the program, and now it's Carl Golan, but it has not stopped them, hasn't swayed them, and Sammy Diaz has talked about how great the culture has been, how all these players are friends, as that one's hit to second, and the out made at first to retire Brooke Kuffel.
Adams continues quite a dominant relief appearance right now. She's been getting the weak contact that she's been asking for, and has looked really solid on the mound more than anything.
Aside of those first 3 innings of game 1 where she gave up 2 home runs and 4 runs, she has been dominant and has not allowed a run. There's Danny Lucy with a base hit. Danny Lucy is having a fantastic game, her second hit to go with that home run. And she's going to get to first with 2 out.
Again, just a solid hit between the third base and short, between third and short, particularly with third base playing in. Really nice way to split the gap between them. Just a solid, fundamental single there from Danny Lucy.
Badgers have been able to find those gaps all game long, all day long. There's ball 1 thrown to Ellie Hubbard.
Rivera as well getting up to make sure Lucy does not steal. Obviously, Lucy.
There's a drive into right. Going back. What a catch! What a catch! Devin Simon. She has been unstoppable in right field, and she makes another huge play to end the inning.
Simon crashing into the wall. Great stuff. We'll be back on Big Ten Plus.
12 and under, the Badgers invite you to be the featured as our Stars of Tomorrow team of the game. Join us for free admission and a unique opportunity to be a part of the Badgers free game experience. Tickets are limited and are awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit uwbadgers.com for more information.
Welcome back to Madison. We'll take a look at the Big Ten standings. Michigan and Northwestern both unbeaten. Of course, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oregon, UCLA. You see those rankings a bit intimidating. Then you have Iowa currently sitting at 7th, taking that second loss earlier today, but still big improvement that they've already shown. And then Wisconsin currently sitting at 10th, but a chance to get win number 5 today, which, while it wouldn't put them at first place in the Big Ten, it would be a 5th win, which no other team currently has, although Wisconsin has played a few more Big Ten games than other teams.
I mean, it would also be a winning record in the conference and also a massive win over a team that has won against some big teams. Obviously, Iowa had that massive win against UCLA. And proving that they can beat them twice in a day, that's massive stuff for the Badgers if they can do that. As we now have Tori Bennett on the mound versus Jordan Fauci. Bennett
Fouls that one off.
Bennett obviously having a massive day, a really good catch in the outfield earlier today, but also the massive go-ahead 3-run home run.
Also had a fly-out RBI in the 3rd, which managed to tie the game. He's had some clutch hits as that one bounced by Felci.
Looks like it just slipped, but Felci has looked quite good on the mound. Quite solid for the freshman.
1-2 count.
Only the one base runner allowed with the walk. The 4-pitch walk she issued at the start of last inning.
Fouled off again. So Bennett able to stay alive at this at-bat.
Even count. Obviously, Tori Bennett, I mean, she's had a massive day today, hasn't she?
She has now 4 RBIs in these 2 games. She had an RBI in game 1 of their series against South Dakota State earlier this week. She had 3 hits and 3 RBIs in the game against Marshall. Of course, that first career home run that she hit in game 1. That one lined to second, and Riley Crane was just able to stand there and make the catch for out number 1.
I mean, obviously, when you're looking at Tori Bennett, you know, she has the 622 OPS on the year. But that's quite misleading. She's been a really hard out for this Wisconsin team the entire day. Right there, they get kind of lucky with the line out straight to the second baseman. But that was, again, good, solid contact from the center fielder.
Now Sujin Berry had an RBI single her last time up, was struck out in the 1st. Takes strike 1.
She's been, again, we've constantly said she's been Iowa's best hitter as she
Big
swings and
swing there.
misses. Oh, no, she fouls it off. So, but, again, she's been Iowa's best hitter, and it's so valuable to have so much power at shortstop. And though she has the error from today, she's been quite defensively solid there practically the entire day. Other than that play, obviously.
Is just a sophomore as well. She's got more years in her to continue to develop that power. Fouls off another one. That's something that really, though, has stood out with both of these teams, that their best power hitters are underclassmen. For Iowa, of course, Jenna Young, Sujin Berry, both sophomores. For Wisconsin, you have Hillary Blomberg, who's a sophomore. You have Kendra Lewis, who's a freshman. A lot of young talent on both these teams, and that's why both these teams have so much to look forward to in the future.
And even a sophomore in Danny Lucy as Sujin Berry swings and misses there. But, yeah, it's been so many offensively adept underclassmen, which, I mean, that means that these two programs have quite a bright future ahead of them.
3rd strikeout of the game for Felci. She had 5 strikeouts coming into this one. Really good outing for her.
It's just the stuff has looked really good for her, particularly her changeup.
That went down the line and fouled from Rivera. She only had 1 strikeout in the 2 innings that she pitched in game 2 against Michigan, game that she started and got credited with a loss. She's rebounded from that one really well. threw some big pitches in game 1 to keep Wisconsin in the game. And now she's done a great job in relief for Kendra Lewis. That pitch high for ball 1.
I mean, with Michigan's, with that Michigan game, sometimes the BABIP just doesn't go your way. Sometimes that luck doesn't go your way. She went in, she did practically what she was wanting to do. She got the ground balls, and sometimes they just went through the different gaps that they had in the defense, obviously, when you set up.
That one fouled off again by Rivera for strike 2. If you currently look in the on-deck circle, we'll see if we actually get to go to her, but it's Jalen Adams, who only has 1 at-bat this season. Potentially could see her come to the plate and get another instance of a pitcher trying to hit. But first, the 1-2. Felci against Rivera. Fouls that one off to stay alive. Of course, this is kind of getting to the point, though, where Iowa, they need some offense. Here in the top of the 6th, trailing by 2.
Obviously, yeah, they only have 2 more innings, and Felci has looked really solid on the mound. Again, still the only base runner she's given up has been that 4-pitch walk she had at the start of the top of the 5th.
The 1-2, Rivera fouls it off again. Good battle between Felci and Rivera.
A good 2-strike approach out of Rivera. Even though ball in, she still manages to fight it off. Makes the battle a lot more interesting, sort of basically trying to get the ball inside so that she can hit it.
Saw lots of drama in game 1 of this series. Just a couple hours ago. Will we get any more? Here in game 2, there's a ball thrown by Felci. Count even at 2-2.
Massive take there from Rivera, so close to the plate, but she gets the result she wants. It's now an even count. It's going to be interesting to see what Felci can come up with.
That one into center field. And the catch made by Danny Lucy. And the Iowa Hawkeyes have 1 more inning to try and get things going. But Jordan Felci is taking over 4-2 here at Goodman on Big Ten Plus. Back here in Madison, we're going to throw it over to Rachel Cohen. Once again, on the sidelines. What you got for us, Rachel?
Thanks, guys. You know, a lot of teams like to go to team dinners, different restaurants, especially when they're on the road to bond, but not this Iowa Hawkeye team. Instead, you can find them going to the local gas stations, which is something that assistant coach Sammy Diaz says they prefer. They'll throw out Chipotle and they'll say, no, we'd rather go to the gas station. They stock up on any gas station snacks you can imagine, from ice cream to Dr. Pepper to candy bars to ices. Coach Diaz says it's become a tradition. They all do their gas station hauls and make TikToks. But out of all their gas station stops, Coach Diaz says their most memorable is their trip to Buc-ee's, saying they went all crazy, all getting matching Buc-ee's shorts. And yes, guys, they will be stopping by a Quick Trip during their time in Madison. Carter?
Thanks for that, Rachel. Once again, that just says so much about the culture that exists in this Iowa team, as it's Eden Dempsey for Wisconsin. Backup catcher. She's played in, this is her 31st appearance of the season. She's got I read that wrong. This is her 8th appearance of the season. Does have a home run, though. It was a grand slam against Kansas in their second game of the season. And she hits this one into center. Tori Bennett able to make the catch.
I mean, Eden Dempsey is like one of the fan favorites on this team, especially Coach Healy was talking about it. She, in her words, she's been a role player, a bullpen catcher, a pinch hitter. She does all those things on the sidelines. This is all I see, but she does so much more. I mean, when you talk about backup catchers, that's such a culture thing, right? Like, your backup catcher is always like the vibes person wherever you go.
She has 2 hits on the season, 5 RBIs, and that includes the grand slam. So anytime she puts the ball in play, someone scores, and while she was flown out on that one, you could see there's a lot of power there. Here's Olivia Bark fouling one off, brings the count to 1-1.
And very clearly, and just a personal one, number 55 is like the best backup catcher number. It just looks great on a backup catcher.
Absolutely. 2 for 3 on the day for Bark, 2 singles. She flew out her last time up, though.
Bark has been quite good. The 2 singles on the day, obviously kickstarting 2 very different rallies for Wisconsin. And she's been just a really solid leadoff hitter the entire day today.
Yeah, in this Wisconsin lineup, while you have people like Kendra Lewis, Hillary Blomberg, we've talked so much about them and the power they have, but Olivia Bark is really the most consistent hitter. She leads the team in hits. She's the best at just being able to put the ball in play.
Absolutely, and again, having such a solid leadoff hitter that sometimes goes unnoticed as she takes the walk over there. Exactly another thing you'd want out of a great leadoff hitter, which Olivia Bark absolutely, I mean, on base percentage over 400, 11th walk on the year, equaling Danny Lucy. You know, and when you think about them, they're such different players. Obviously, Lucy a lot more on the extra base hit side. Bark completely content just getting the single, getting on base.
Here comes Molly Schlosser. 1 for 2 on the day. An RBI single at her last at bat.
Also a very adept bunter, obviously a sack bunt as well on the day.
See if she pulls that one out again. That one outside for ball 1.
It's been really interesting to see how Iowa have pitched Molly Schlosser, considering a lot of the times Olivia Bark has been on first. So they've been pitching around her a lot, which is something you'd maybe expect a lot more out of a power hitter, you know, making sure they don't get the ball. But they've been pitching a lot around her, just keep Bark at bay, which again shows the value of having an on-base person like Olivia Bark on your team.
Schlosser not known as a power hitter, but 3 home runs on the season, including the one in game 1. She fouls this one off to stay alive in a 1-2 count.
Fouls it just over our heads.
Now, we're kind of seeing, though, the situation for Wisconsin as they try to extend their lead. Of course, Iowa, they managed to take a 3-run lead going into the 7th inning of game 1. Wisconsin was able to battle back. Now, can Wisconsin try to pull away, make things even more difficult for Iowa?
Especially as they reach the heart of the lineup, you know, Schlosser, but then after that you have, you know, the big hitters for Wisconsin, Blomberg, Lewis, Crane's been good.
That one hit in the air to right field, Simon under it. And of course she makes the catch because she has been near flawless in right field today.
Absolutely, the catch where she collides with the wall, just great on the run plays. Obviously, it obviously wasn't a catch, but it was really interesting to see the effort she had when the foul ball earlier in this game, just in pursuit, even on waste plays. It was interesting to see.
Here comes Blomberg. We're really seeing just such a difference between these 2 games of this doubleheader. The first game, the bats were a bit more alive. You saw 5 home runs, some couple of triples. This game, we still have had some big hits, but a lot more defensive highlights as well.
A lot more in line with the pitching matchup that maybe both coaches thought about going into this. I do also want to note Hillary Blomberg comes out with The Great Escape, the Gwen Stefani song, but that's the same opening thing as Gunnar Henderson, and very similar players, obviously, corner fielders with intense power.
That one hit to second, and they get the 3rd out. So Iowa able to prevent Wisconsin to extend the lead, but now It is do or die for the Hawkeyes as they trail by 2, a 4-2 ball game headed into the 7th. We're going to be right back for the conclusion of this one here on Big Ten Plus.
Join us on Saturday, April 19th at Camp Randall Stadium for the Wisconsin Football Spring Showcase presented by UW Credit Union. The event will begin at the Coles Kids Combine from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the McLean Center, where kids 12 and under can participate in fun, interactive activities. Wisconsin football will then take the field for an open practice and scrimmage, giving fans an early look at the 2025 team. After the scrimmage, fans are invited onto the Camp Randall turf for photos and interactions with student athletes and coaches. General admission tickets are $5. Admission is free for Wisconsin football season ticket holders, UW-Madison students, and kids 12 and under, but all patrons must claim a ticket for entry. Don't miss.
Back here in Madison, here's a look. Of course, Iowa's upcoming schedule tomorrow morning here at Goodman against the Badgers, and then next weekend on the road, or excuse me, back at home in Iowa City, where they'll take on Nebraska, and then one game against Illinois State in Iowa City. Of course, that series against Nebraska going to be not an easy one. It never is, but should be a fun one between this rising Hawkeye team. Here's Wisconsin. Look at their upcoming schedule, of course, tomorrow morning against the Hawkeyes, and they'll be back at home with a doubleheader on Tuesday against North Dakota. And then they will be on the road in Washington, a little West Coast trip to take on the Huskies. Trying to get to a winning record in the Big Ten as it's Jordan Felche going against Talia Tretton. Iowa needs 2 runs to stay alive in this one.
Really is the beauty of the modern Big Ten, you know, when you look at that schedule, you know, you have the games against Iowa, obviously in Goodman, but then they have the West Coast trip that they have to take against Washington.
That went inside from Felche, trying to close this one out on what would be a statement win for both Wisconsin to match their win total from all of last season with 21, to get to a winning record in the Big Ten, win a 6th straight game at home against Iowa, clinch the series after losing the season series last season 2-1 in Iowa City.
Felche, again, the only base runner given up still. That 4-pitch walk at the start of the top of the 5th. She has been pretty lights out for this Wisconsin team so far. And also, again, freshman against freshman pitching matchup.
Swing and a miss. She strikes out Tretton. Her 4th strikeout of the game. Once again, she had 5 strikeouts coming into this game.
Yeah.
Going for a personal no-hitter. She's 2 outs away.
Beautiful pitch in. Again, it's so hard when you're facing those reverse split matchups, but right there, pitches right into Tretton. Gets her to swing and miss on the changeup.
Devin Simon, she's been fantastic on the defensive side, has a double in this game.
Definitely one of the best players for Iowa in this game specifically. Specifically with the defense, but she also has the double. She has some extra base hit power today.
Fouls that one off. Count goes to 1-1.
And with what Iowa's thinking right now, they're probably thinking about a way that they can get to the top of the lineup, because that would really be that would mean that they've got people on base. That means they've got to Felche. So that's kind of what they're hoping for right now. And with 2 outs remaining, I mean, it's what you can hope for right now.
Felche hasn't allowed a hit. Iowa needs to change that if they want to have a chance in this one. Felche missing the zone there for ball 2. Of course, if Iowa does want to get to the top of their lineup, they still have Matiello, Jackson, and Bowman before they get back to the top with Gina Young.
And obviously, Matiello was really good in the first game. She doesn't have a hit in this one, but obviously Bowman does.
That one, center field, and the catch made for out number 2 by Lucy. And now the Hawkeyes are down to their final out.
Sometimes you just get unlucky. That's what happened to Simon in this at bat. You could hear the bat noise from up here. But in the end, it just ended up being a loud out straight to Danny Lucy in center field. Felche versus Matiello with 1 out on the line for Iowa.
Matiello has to get on base to keep the game going. Swing and a miss, that's strike 1.
And if you're Felche, this is the matchup you want. You're facing one of the only lefties you're going to get until Jenna Young. So, again, this is the matchup that Coach Healy would be wanting a lefty-lefty matchup here.
Hannah Lindsay, who has not played so far today, is in the on-deck circle, hoping that she'll get a chance. That one fouled off by Mariello. An 0-2 count. Iowa down to their final strike.
And obviously the bunt, that was maybe the last opportunity to bunt because you never really want the game to end on a foul bunt strikeout, but now Felci with the final, with an 0-2 pitch, that could be the final one of the day.
Crowd making some noise. Fouled off. Mariello stays alive, keeps her team alive.
Foul just over the final set of fans behind the Wisconsin dugout.
No one able to make the catch, no souvenir there.
No souvenir there.
Maybe they go chase it down in the grass. The 0-2 from Felci. Game on the line. That one's inside for ball one.
She went back to the changeup. I mean, that's the pitch that's been working for her today, particularly against the righties somehow. That's always a pitch that goes into the righty, but it's been working for her today.
There's the pitch. There's the swing and a miss. The throw out at first, and the umpire is holding everything up. Believe Mariello may have gotten a piece of that one. It's another foul ball.
Again, Emmy Wells making sure that the play was made at first if it was a drop third strike. But we're going to be going to the 1-2.
Once again,
Once
Badgers
again.
ready to celebrate. Iowa trying to stay alive and battle back again. Fouled off again by Mariello. They won't go away. They managed to battle back from a 4-run deficit in game one.
Felci now up to pitch 58. But she's looked so lights out on the mound for the Badgers.
There's one freshman, Kendra Lewis, who was the hero in game one. Can Felci be the hero here in game two? The 1-2 hit to second, the throw to first, and there it is. Jordan Felci, 0 hits allowed, 1 walk allowed, 1 base runner allowed, and able to get Wisconsin win number 21 on the season, matching their win total from all of last season. What a turnaround for this Wisconsin Badgers team as they clinch the series against Iowa. 6 straight wins at Goodman against the Hawkeyes, and they get win number 5 in the Big Ten. And again, it's the freshmen who are the heroes for these Badgers.
They'll be going for the sweep tomorrow, but Jordan Felci, freshman, with only 1 base runner allowed in 4 2/3 innings of work. Exceptional stuff from the freshman. And really an impressive series. Kendra Lewis cannot keep the hit streak alive, so it ends at 11. But what an impressive performance from another freshman on the Badgers.
What a series this has been. What a doubleheader. Of course, game 3 will be tomorrow morning here on Big Ten Plus. The final score 4-2 here in Madison. For myself, Carter Burmaster, Ani Nimburi, and Rachel Cohen, the entire crew here at Big Ten Plus, we thank you for joining us. Have a good one.